What if 8 simple truths spoken to yourself each morning could transform the way you face every moment? Imagine waking up and gently reminding yourself of principles that anchor your mind, sharpen your focus, and free you from the currents of stress and doubt. In a world that constantly demands your attention, traffic jams, endless to-do lists, the pressure to perform, you have the power to choose how you respond. The Stoics discovered this secret centuries ago. They understood that true strength isn't built by controlling the world around you, but by mastering your own thoughts and actions. Today, you're going to learn 8 Stoic affirmations that have the potential to reshape your inner landscape. These aren't mere slogans to repeat mindlessly. They are practical reminders, tools you can carry in your mind throughout the day, each one designed to guide you back to clarity, resilience, and genuine peace. By the end of this video, you'll have a personal toolkit of phrases ready to activate whenever life's challenges arise. Whether you're caught in a stressful meeting, wrestling with self-doubt, or simply craving more presence in your everyday moments, these affirmations will ground you. You'll begin to see that the world doesn't have to dictate your mood or your destiny, so lean in. Let these words sink into your consciousness. Let them become the quiet, steady voice that speaks to you before the world has a chance to overwhelm you. Repeat them each morning or whenever you need a reset, and watch how your mind starts to align with your highest purpose. You are not a passenger in your life. You are the captain steering toward wisdom, courage, and inner calm. It all begins with a few sentences you choose to tell yourself every day. Let's embark on this journey together. Let's start with the first reminder that will redefine how you experience every sunrise. Part 1. I control my mind, not external events. The Stoic truth. You are not powerless when life throws chaos your way. The only true domain you possess is your own mind. External events, traffic snarls, a curt email from a colleague, sudden health scares are beyond your complete control, yet your thoughts, judgments, and choices remain entirely yours. When you realize that your reaction defines your experience, you reclaim authority over every moment. Philosopher's wisdom. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This isn't a distant ideal, but a practical key. When you repeat these words, you're training your inner voice to focus on what you can shape, your attitude and the way you interpret circumstances. Personalization of power. Picture yourself stuck in gridlock. Car horns are blaring. Your heart pounds. In that moment, say to yourself, "This traffic does not ruin my day. Only my response can do that." Feel the shift as irritation begins to loosen its grip. You remind yourself that stress is a choice, not an inevitability. Illustrative story. Imagine Sarah, a project manager who faced a sudden budget cut just hours before a major presentation. Panic threatened to overwhelm her. Instead of spiraling, she paused, inhaled deeply, and recited silently, "I control my mind, not external events." With each breath, her anxiety eased. She reframed the challenge as an opportunity to adapt, ultimately delivering a more creative pitch that won her team new sponsors. The inner dialogue. It begins with a question. Is my reaction serving me? Whenever you feel tension rising, ask yourself this gentle but powerful question. Give space for a deliberate response instead of a knee-jerk reaction. This pause is the doorway to conscious choice, and through it, you steer your emotional state rather than being carried away by it. Discipline in practice. Consistency is the bridge between intention and transformation. Each morning, as you brush your teeth or pour your coffee, whisper, "I control my mind, not external events." Make it more than a phrase. Let it be a seed of resilience planted at daybreak. Tending to that seed throughout your day grows a garden of calm in the midst of life's storms. Commentary on the philosophy Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Notice the subtle shift when you internalize that teaching. You move from victimhood to authorship of your own story. No longer are you waiting for situations to change. Instead, you change how you perceive and engage with them. Emotional resonance. You may feel doubts. Can I really remain unaffected when everything around me is falling apart? The answer lies in small moments of choice. Choose a calm thought over a panicked one. Replace blame with curiosity. Each time you do, you build a reservoir of inner strength that no external tempest can drain. Practical application. The next time someone speaks sharply to you or you receive unexpected bad news, close your eyes briefly. Affirm, "I decide my response." Visualize a dial controlling your emotional intensity. Turn it down, not to suppress emotion, but to observe it. Then act from a place of clarity rather than reactivity. Invitation to reflection. Take a moment now. Recall one recent situation where you felt powerless. Picture it, then reframe it with this affirmation. Notice how the scenario changes under the light of your new perspective. This simple practice, repeated daily, transforms scattered thoughts into focused intent. Transition to next part. Having claimed authority over your mind, you're ready to anchor yourself in the present moment. Next, we'll explore why reminding yourself this present moment is all you have is the next step in crafting an unshakable foundation for every day. Part 2. This present moment is all you have, embracing the now. Too often, your mind drifts between regrets of what's behind you and anxieties about what lies ahead. Yet life unfolds only in the present. The seeds of your future are planted in the soil of now. When you anchor yourself in this moment, you reclaim the only time in which you truly live. Stoic insight. Marcus Aurelius urged himself, confine yourself to the present. In his meditations, he warned against the trap of endless planning or regret, reminding himself that each breath is a gift. By internalizing this teaching, you learn to treat every second as a precious resource rather than expendable time. A simple practice: pause right now and feel your breath. Notice its rhythm, the rise and fall of your chest. This simple act draws you back when your thoughts roam. Each inhale is a reminder, this moment is all I have. With every exhale, release distractions that pull you away from what truly matters. Illustrative story. Consider David, a young writer who spent nights worrying about whether his novel would ever find success. He replayed every critique in his mind and feared future rejections. One morning, he decided to sit by his window and recite quietly, "This present moment is all I have." Suddenly, the words on his page came alive. He wrote with clarity, free from the weight of imagined outcomes. Personalization of presence. When you're with a friend or family member, place your phone face down and breathe in their presence. Tell yourself, right now this moment is my world. Feel the warmth of connection without letting past misunderstandings or future errands invade your mind. Cultivating gratitude. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." By grounding yourself, you gift your attention wholly to what exists. Notice the golden light streaming through a window, the sound of distant laughter, or the taste of your morning coffee. Recognize these as markers of a life lived intentionally. Overcoming distraction. Your brain craves novelty, pulling you toward what's next. When you catch yourself scrolling or multitasking, gently remind, "This present moment is all I have." Use that phrase as a mental reset button. Each time you return to now, you strengthen the muscle of presence, making it easier to resist distraction. Emotional resonance. You may feel a rush of resistance as worries surge back. That's normal. Acknowledge the thought. Perhaps it whispers about deadlines or unpaid bills, and then gently return to your breath. This ebb and flow is the practice itself. Through each gentle redirection, you affirm your commitment to actual living, not mere surviving. Discipline and reward. Commit to a daily ritual. Set an alarm that chimes once every 2 hours. When it rings, pause and affirm, "This present moment is all I have." Even for a few breaths, you recenter. Over time, these pauses become automatic, and you inhabit your life more fully. Philosophical commentary. Epictetus taught, "Today I escaped anxiety," or "No, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside." By focusing on what is immediate, you detach from the illusions that anxiety spins. You learn that fear of the future is a story your mind creates, not a reality you must endure. Invitation to reflect. Right now, think of a moment today that passed unnoticed. A smile, a bird song, a fleeting thought. Hold it in your mind. Recognize how easily it slipped by and vow to meet the next moment with full awareness. This small pledge transforms ordinary seconds into a tapestry of mindful clarity. Part 3. Adversity is your ally, reframing hardship. You've been taught to avoid discomfort, yet every challenge you face holds the seed of transformation. Adversity isn't a roadblock, but a guide, pointing you toward your hidden strengths. When you shift your view, obstacles become stepping stones, and every hardship reveals a lesson waiting to be learned. Stoic insight. Seneca observed, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This teaching isn't about glorifying suffering. It's about recognizing that growth arises from struggle. When you embrace trials as intentional workouts for your inner self, you build resilience that no comfort zone could ever provide. Personal empowerment. Picture this. You've poured your heart into a project and faced rejection. Your first impulse may be to retreat, to tell yourself you weren't good enough. Instead, stop and affirm, "Adversity is my ally, forging me into something stronger." Feel how that simple shift releases you from self-pity and sets your focus on adaptation. Illustrative story. Meet Maria, a teacher whose classroom was upended by a sudden budget cut. With resources stripped away, she could have resigned herself to defeat. Instead, she embraced the challenge as an opportunity. She crafted low-cost, high-impact lessons, transforming adversity into innovation. Her students didn't just learn content, they absorbed the power of resourcefulness and grit. The inner dialogue. When stress rises, ask yourself, "What is this challenge teaching me?" That question turns fear into curiosity. Instead of asking, "Why me?" you ask, "What now?" And in that pivot, you open your mind to solutions and possibilities you might never have seen otherwise. Discipline in practice. Begin each morning by recalling a recent setback. Journal briefly. "This obstacle taught me." Writing reframes the experience from a wound into a story of growth. Over time, you'll notice patterns. The same sorts of trials that once left you shaken now fuel your confidence and creativity. Philosophical commentary. Epictetus reminded us that events aren't good or bad. Our judgments make them so. When a storm batters your plans, you decide whether it's a catastrophe or a catalyst. By choosing the latter, you claim agency even in the fiercest gales. Your mindset becomes an anchor rather than a sail torn by the wind. Emotional resonance. You might feel a flutter of resistance. After all, embracing pain isn't natural. That hesitation is part of the process. Acknowledge the discomfort, then gently remind yourself, every hardship refines me. In those moments of pause, you reaffirm that you are stronger than any single struggle. Practical application. Next time you face criticism or a personal setback, stand tall and repeat silently, adversity is my ally. Visualize a blacksmith at his forge, a hammer striking raw metal. Each blow shapes the metal's strength. You too are tempered by each challenge, becoming more resilient with every strike. Stories of triumph. Consider James Stockdale, a naval officer who endured years as a prisoner of war. He credited his survival not to luck, but to an unwavering belief that adversity was his chance to prove his character. He wrote, "I never lost faith in the end of my story." That faith sustained him through the darkest hours, illustrating how viewing hardship as an ally can sustain you when hope seems lost. Cultivating gratitude. It may feel counterintuitive, but thank your difficulties. At the end of each day, list 2 things you learned from the day's trials. Perhaps patience, perhaps humility, or perhaps creativity. This small act of gratitude rewires your brain to seek silver linings, strengthening your emotional immunity to future storms. Invitation to reflect. Think back to a moment of crisis, a lost job, a broken relationship, a failed experiment. Recall how it shaped you. Can you now trace a path from that pain to a gift it brought? Hold that realization close. Let it remind you that adversity isn't a detour, but part of your map. Part 4. You are the author of your actions, claiming your creative power. Every moment offers a blank page, waiting for you to write your next sentence. You are not a passive character swept along by circumstance. You are the author of your story. When you embrace this truth, you transform from a reactor into a creator, shaping your life with intention rather than responding on autopilot. Stoic insight. Epictetus taught, "Don't seek for events to happen as you wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will run well." Beneath these words lies a deeper message. You choose the lens through which you view reality and the actions you take in response. You hold the pen even when the plot gets messy. The power of choice. Imagine you receive unexpected criticism at work. Your first impulse may be to defend or withdraw. Instead, pause and affirm, "I am the author of my actions." In that moment of stillness, you decide your next line. Will you respond with calm curiosity, seeking to learn, or with defensiveness that only closes doors? By consciously choosing, you reclaim ownership of your narrative. Illustrative story. Consider Alex, a young entrepreneur whose launch faltered on its first day. Facing harsh feedback online, he could have retreated into self-doubt. Instead, he reminded himself, "I am the author of my actions." He reviewed the critiques, extracted the valuable insights, and rewrote his strategy. What began as a stumble became the prologue to a stronger, more successful venture. The inner dialogue. When you find yourself blaming others or circumstances, notice the story you're telling yourself. Then ask, is this narrative empowering me? If it isn't, choose a different storyline. Replace "they made me feel this way" with "I choose how I feel and act." Through this shift, you dismantle the illusion that your well-being depends on forces outside your control. Philosophical commentary. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By viewing obstacles as material for your plot, you weave challenges into the fabric of your story. Each hurdle becomes an opportunity to demonstrate your creativity and resilience, enriching the narrative you craft. Practical application. Every morning, draft a brief scene outline for your day. Identify one circumstance that might test you: an important meeting, a difficult conversation, a personal temptation. Write, "If X happens, I will respond by Y." This framework moves you from reactive to proactive storytelling, ensuring your actions align with your deepest values. Emotional resonance. You may worry, what if I make the wrong choice? Remember that even missteps are part of your plot's depth. A novel without conflict feels flat. When you accept that mistakes add texture and meaning, you free yourself from paralysis by perfection. Each decision, right or wrong, becomes an essential chapter in your growth. Cultivating responsibility. The freedom to author your life comes with responsibility. When you own your choices, you own both successes and failures. This honesty fosters integrity, a cornerstone of the Stoic path. As you hold yourself accountable, you build inner trust and a clear conscience, foundations for lasting confidence. Stories of integrity. Seneca once counseled, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Let these words guide your pen today. When tempted to cut corners or say what's convenient, remind yourself that every action writes a line in the story others will remember. Choose authenticity. Your legacy depends on it. Strengthening the practice. When evening comes, reflect on your day's narrative. Journal the moments when you exercised choice and the ones when you drifted. Celebrate the scenes where you acted with courage, compassion, or integrity. For any passages you'd rather rewrite, view them not with regret, but as drafts awaiting your next revision. Invitation to reflection. Right now, think of a recent situation where you felt swept along by events. Can you identify the moment you switched from choice to reaction? How might you have rewritten that scene? Hold that insight close as you move forward, ready to script each new line with purpose and presence. Part 5. Expect nothing. Appreciate everything. Letting go of expectations. You carry an invisible weight when you expect life to unfold according to your blueprint. Every unmet hope becomes a disappointment, sapping your energy and dimming your gratitude. By choosing to expect nothing, you clear space in your mind and heart for genuine appreciation of whatever arises. Philosophical foundation. Seneca wrote, "He is a great man who uses earthenware dishes as if they were silver, but he is equally great who uses silver as if it were earthenware." In other words, when you treat good fortune with humility and setbacks with grace, you remain steady. Expectations create the illusion that some outcomes deserve praise while others deserve despair. The Stoics teach you that true contentment springs from a mind unshaken by either. Reframing disappointment. Imagine you've arranged a long overdue dinner with a friend, only to have it canceled at the last minute. Your initial reaction might be frustration or hurt. Instead, pause and remind yourself, "I expect nothing, appreciate everything." Acknowledge the disappointment, then shift your focus to gratitude for the opportunity to reconnect, even if it must wait for another day. Illustrative story. Consider Emily, a graphic designer who poured her creativity into a pitch for a major client. She anticipated praise and a swift contract. When the client delayed their decision indefinitely, Emily felt deflated. She could have spiraled into self-doubt, questioning her talent. Instead, she embraced the Stoic reminder, "Expect nothing, appreciate everything." She thanked herself for the effort invested and appreciated the chance to refine her work. Weeks later, the client returned with constructive feedback that elevated the design far beyond Emily's original vision. Inner dialogue shift. When you catch yourself muttering, "Why didn't this turn out as planned?" gently replace it with, "What can I appreciate in this moment?" That question redirects your attention from the absence of what you wanted to the presence of what you already have. Over time, your mind builds a habit of scanning for silver linings instead of counting losses. Cultivating gratitude. Epictetus urged, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." You don't need to wait for grand achievements to practice this. Each morning, list 3 simple things you often overlook: a hot shower, a reliable pen, or a moment of laughter. You train your awareness to recognize life's everyday gifts, weaving gratitude into your daily experience. Discipline and practice. Create a ritual before sleep. Write down one unexpected kindness you received that day. It might be a stranger's smile, a colleague's help, or a comforting message from a loved one. This small act seals your day with appreciation rather than regret, transforming your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Emotional resonance. You might resist this practice, thinking you're merely papering over real problems. That resistance is part of the work. Acknowledge any lingering bitterness, then choose gratitude anyway. In that tension between what is and what could be, you discover the resilience to face reality without losing hope. Practical application in real time. When faced with sudden changes, whether ruining plans, a project derailed, or a missed connection, take a breath and say aloud, "I expect nothing. Appreciate everything." Feel the shift as frustration loosens its hold. This affirmation doesn't deny the inconvenience. It invites you to look for any good that remains. Stories of transformation. Sales legend Zig Ziglar once said, "Gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions." While not a Stoic by name, his insight aligns with Stoic practice. Those who learn to appreciate every small blessing report deeper satisfaction and less anxiety. They find their inner compass pointing steadily toward growth rather than spinning in circles of unmet desire. Invitation to reflect. Right now, recall one moment today when things didn't go as you wanted. Hold that scene in your mind. Then ask yourself, what can I appreciate in this experience? Notice how your perspective widens, revealing overlooked positives or lessons learned. Part 6. Everything is temporary, embracing life's flux. Every experience you cherish and every hardship you endure share one fundamental truth: they will not last forever. Recognizing life's impermanence frees you from clinging too tightly to fleeting joys or resisting inevitable sorrows. When you accept that everything is in constant motion, you gain the power to engage fully with what matters, knowing it will evolve in its own time. Stoic insight. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change the things which are, and to make new things like them." By internalizing this teaching, you see impermanence not as loss, but as the universe's creative rhythm. The same force that dissolves a storm clears the way for fresh beginnings. The gift of perspective. Imagine watching a sunset, its brilliant colors fading into dusk. If you insist on it lasting forever, you miss its beauty slipping away. Instead, when you remind yourself everything is temporary, you lean into the moment with full awareness, savoring its warmth and radiance before it vanishes. This simple shift turns passing experiences into treasured memories rather than regrets. Illustrative story. Consider James, a father whose young daughter grew up faster than he could believe. He once fretted over bedtime stories, wishing he could freeze time. One evening he paused and repeated to himself, "Everything is temporary." With that awareness, he cherished each laugh and question, weaving those moments into a tapestry of lasting joy. Years later, those memories remain vibrant, sustaining him through the emptier halls of an adult home. Personal practice. When anxiety strikes, whether over a looming deadline or a budding relationship, close your eyes briefly and affirm, "This tension is temporary. It will pass." Feel your muscles soften as you acknowledge the ephemeral nature of stress. This mindful pause reminds you that no feeling, however intense, defines your life permanently. Cultivating resilience. Epictetus taught, "Seek not to have events happen as you want them, but rather want them to happen as they do, and your life will flow well." When you accept change instead of fighting it, you conserve energy for what you can influence, your attitude, your choices, and your capacity to adapt. In that acceptance, you discover resilience that outlasts any single circumstance. Emotional resonance. You may fear that embracing impermanence diminishes the value of what you love, that if everything ends, why invest your heart? Paradoxically, knowing your time with something is limited deepens your appreciation. It invites you to engage more fully, to speak words unsaid, and to act with urgency. Impermanence becomes a catalyst for meaningful connection rather than a source of despair. Practical application. Create a simple ritual at sunrise. As light fills your space, whisper, "Everything is temporary." Let that phrase be your anchor whenever you face irritation in traffic, the sting of criticism, or the ache of separation. Each time you repeat it, you remind yourself that even the heaviest burdens will lighten, and even the brightest joys will transform, both equally worthy of your full presence. Stories of transformation. Seneca wrote in a letter, "Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life." He urged us not to hoard time, but to live each day wholly, aware that it will not return. Those who embrace this approach report a quieter mind, freed from the chains of past regret and future fear, and a heart open to the richness of each unfolding moment. Invitation to reflect. Pause now and breathe deeply. Recall a recent moment of intense joy or sorrow. Notice how it has already begun to shift in your memory. Recognize that your experience is part of life's vast ebb and flow. Ask yourself, how would I live differently if I remembered this truth every day? Part 7. Generosity defines true wealth, reimagining abundance. True wealth isn't measured by the zeros in your bank account, but by the generosity you extend to others. When you shift your focus from accumulating possessions to cultivating a spirit of giving, you open a wellspring of fulfillment within yourself. Generosity reveals that your greatest resource isn't money or status. It's the kindness, time, and wisdom you share. Stoic insight. Seneca counseled, "Giving starts the receiving." He understood that abundance flows most freely to those who give without expectation. When you practice generosity, you break the chains of scarcity mindset. You affirm that life has more than enough for every good intention, and in pouring out goodwill, you discover an endless reservoir of purpose, personalization of generosity. Imagine your morning routine. Instead of scrolling through social media, you pause to send a brief, encouraging message to a friend or colleague. You remind yourself, "My value grows as I uplift others." With that small act, you plant a seed of connection that blooms in your own heart as warmth and confidence. Illustrative story. Consider Marcus, a nurse working long shifts in a busy hospital. He noticed patients often felt lonely, more than they felt unwell. Marcus began offering a few extra minutes of conversation with each person he cared for, listening to their stories, sharing a comforting word. Those moments of genuine attention didn't cost him anything financially, yet they transformed the atmosphere on his ward. His simple generosity sparked smiles, eased fears, and reminded him daily why he chose this vocation. Philosophical commentary Epictetus taught, "What prosperity is there for a man who earns 1,000,000 but loses his modesty and generosity?" By holding on to humility and generosity, you safeguard your character. Wealth that isn't shared becomes a burden. Generosity lightens your spirit and affirms your humanity, even in the face of personal struggles. Cultivating generosity as discipline. Generosity, like any virtue, requires practice. Set a small daily goal, offer one genuine compliment, share a piece of knowledge you've found valuable, or volunteer 5 minutes to help someone without being asked. Each day, record your act of giving. Over time, you'll notice your capacity to empathize and connect deepening in ways that no material gain could match. Emotional resonance. You might hesitate, thinking you lack time or resources. That resistance is precisely where your growth lies. Recognize that generosity isn't limited to grand gestures. A kind word, attentive listening, or a thoughtful question can be as valuable as any gift. When you give yourself fully in small moments, you cultivate a wealth of empathy and resilience. Practical application. As you go about your day, carry this affirmation: generosity defines true wealth. When a coworker struggles, pause to lend a hand. If a friend is silent, reach out with a caring note. Even in traffic, offer a wave of patience to an impatient driver. These micro acts of kindness ripple outward, creating a network of goodwill that sustains you as much as those you help. Stories of reciprocal abundance. Historical accounts tell of Admiral Horatius Cocles, who defended Rome's bridge alone to protect his people. His bravery cost him nothing materially, yet became a legend, because his act of service fortified the spirit of an entire city. While your daily acts may not be epic, they carry the same essence: service without calculation, generosity born of conviction, and wealth measured in the strength of community. Invitation to reflect. Pause now and consider. When was the last time you gave without expecting something in return? How did it make you feel? Hold on to that feeling. Warmth, connection, purpose. Let it guide your next choice, reminding you that every small gift of yourself strengthens the foundation of your own well-being. Part 8. Memento Mori. Your time is limited. A sobering reminder. You carry within you a finite number of breaths, each one an opportunity that will never return. When you truly grasp the reality of your own mortality, every decision sharpens with purpose. This reminder isn't meant to cast a shadow over your life, but to ignite its brightest flame, urging you to invest your precious time in what truly matters. Stoic insight. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life." In his meditations, he urged himself to treat each moment with the urgency and reverence it deserves. By contemplating death, you strip away trivial concerns and align with what holds real value: integrity, love, creativity, and growth. Personal awakening. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and realizing it could be your last sunrise. How would you choose to spend today? In that instant, petty annoyances lose their weight. You'd speak your truth to a loved one, pursue your passion without hesitation, and live fully present. Let this vision guide your daily choices, transforming routine into a tapestry of meaning. Illustrative story. Consider Sarah, a marketing executive who spent years climbing the corporate ladder, convinced that success equated to security. When her father's sudden passing reminded her of life's fragility, she paused and asked herself, "What would I regret not doing?" She traded late-night work for morning runs with friends, began volunteering at a community center, and wrote heartfelt letters to family members. Though her outward status changed little, her inner world blossomed with fulfillment. The inner dialogue. When you face a crossroads, whether to stay in a comfortable job or chase a dream, pause and ask, "If today were my last, what would I choose?" That question pierces the fog of distraction and reveals your deepest priorities. It isn't about reckless living, it's about conscious choice, honoring your finite time with deliberate, value-driven action. Philosophical commentary. Seneca counseled, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." His words remind you that procrastination is a thief of life's potential. By embracing mortality, you reclaim your agency. Each project you delay, each apology you withhold, becomes a silent regret unless you act now. Let the awareness of time's limit fuel your courage to live authentically. Cultivating urgency as discipline. Start each day by setting a clear intention. Name one act of love, one creative endeavor, one moment of stillness. Write it down. At night, reflect on whether you honored that intention. This ritual ensures that the ticking clock isn't a source of anxiety, but a compass guiding you toward a life well lived. Emotional resonance. You may feel hesitation, the fear that acknowledging your mortality brings discomfort. That discomfort is a catalyst for growth. Lean into it. Acknowledge the vulnerability, then use it as motivation to speak your truth. Forgive old wounds and embrace life's wonders with open arms. In vulnerability lies your greatest strength. Practical application. When you find yourself distracted by social media or overwhelmed by trivial tasks, gently remind, Memento Mori, my time is limited. Let that phrase be your mental reset. Feel your shoulders drop, your chest open as you return to what matters most: face-to-face connections, purposeful work, and moments of reflection that nourish your soul. Stories of urgent living. In the early 2000s, beauty icon Steve Jobs famously urged graduates to stay hungry, stay foolish, reminding them that life's brevity demands bold living. While his words resonate beyond Stoicism, they echo the same principle. Awareness of death sharpens your focus on life. Those who heed this call often report greater joy, deeper relationships, and a clearer sense of mission. Invitation to reflect. Close your eyes and take a slow breath. Picture the vast horizon of days behind you and the unknown ahead. Then bring your attention back to this single breath. Feel its weight. Ask yourself, how will I honor this breath with my next thought, word, or action? Let that question guide you through every hour that follows. Conclusion of the journey. You've now gathered 8 potent reminders to carry with you, tools to shape your mind, heart, and spirit. By mastering your thoughts, grounding yourself in the present, embracing adversity, claiming authorship of your actions, releasing expectations, accepting impermanence, cultivating generosity, and honoring life's urgency, you forge a path of purpose and resilience. Conclusion. As you carry these 8 affirmations into your daily life, remember that real transformation unfolds one moment at a time. Each reminder is a gentle nudge back to your own power. Your power to choose your thoughts, to anchor in the now, to embrace challenges as fuel, to author your actions, to let go of expectations, to honor life's impermanence, to give generously, and to live with the urgency that comes from knowing your time is limited. Take a deep breath and feel the potential within you. Let these phrases become a quiet companion in your mind, guiding you through both calm and storm. Whenever you find yourself drifting, stop and recite the affirmation that speaks most to your heart in that moment. Watch how, over time, these simple sentences reshape not just your mindset, but your entire experience of living. If one of these reminders resonated with you today, share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear which affirmation you'll carry into tomorrow. If this video added value to your journey, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Stoic Philosophy for more reflections that help you live with clarity, courage, and compassion. Until next time, stay stoic, stay intentional, and live each moment as the gift it truly is.